My name is Amarjot Singh, and I do all kind of applications for visas to Canada, including study visa, tourist visa, visitor visa, PR, work permits, marriage cases. I deal in all of them. Lately, I've been getting a lot of calls about refused cases for study visas and for marriage-related spouse work permits, and this is my interest and passion and profession. And I like to do research on the outcomes, especially when they are unsuccessful. I also study jointly with my clients who have been successful. So we try to brainstorm on what really happened, what was the problem that was blocking the visa, and what turned around the visa outcome. So I have with me Taki Rizvi. He is based in Dubai, UAE, and he's a banker. Before I talk about his background, I will give you certain things about UAE. UAE and Middle East area, all of these countries have a number of expatriates like Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, other passport people who are living in this country. They are working hard, they are making a salary, they have the jobs, they have the houses, everything. So even though they are born in other countries, but they're living in Middle East. And based on living there, because everybody has a temporary contract, nobody has an Emirati passport though. They have a temporary contract, they have a temporary work assignments, and that is the one single reason where the Canadian embassy in Abu Dhabi says that you have no ties to country of residence, and this was also the reason that was put in his previous application for Canada. How to solve that problem? We will discuss also here. To give you a brief background about him, he has traveled all over the world, including the US, including Canada, in other countries, Europe and Australia also. And he's a budding pilot. He has some pilot training, both in UAE, and later he went to Canada also to do some few hours there. And based on his profile, his previous trips to Canada and other countries, and money available and funds committed, I think he was very sure shot that he will get the visa, but he did not. And he's an intelligent fellow. He did all this research and he studied up in all this Google and other Facebook and forums. Nothing worked out. And let's find out from him what didn't work out and what really did happen. And let's dive in. Taki, is this a good description of what I said?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much in a nutshell, yes, it was the case. Like when I applied for the visa for my first student visa application, मैं ये नहीं सोचता था कि visa आएगा, because I'm a person who always thinks two sides, both the side of the coin. I always used to think कि अगर visa refuse होता है तो किस point पे refuse होगा, क्योंकि मैं सब कुछ as per there, क्योंकि हम जो सुनते आए हैं कि अगर study visa लगाना हो, your visit visa and stuff like this, there are certain things which you have to keep in mind. So I had a traveling history and whatever you said, everything was there. I always used to think, मेरा refuse होगा तो किस point पे होगा? Because I am a bona fide student, I have a history of my education. मैंने training start की 2015 में December, January, and then since then every year I used to fly. I used to travel to US, fly, जो भी मैंने करता था. So there was no gap in my education. So I was like, क्यों होगा? But then, you don't know what happens. So when I got the first refusal, there were 5 points, and I was shocked. I was like, यार एक दे देता, तो उठा के 5 दे दिए. I was like, man, why? I mean, मतलब मेरा गुनाह क्या है? मतलब मैंने क्या किया? तुमने जो मुझे 5 refusal दे दिए. And
वो पांच refusal reason क्या थे? याद है?
So one, yeah, I remember. One was on the finance, that the finance is not sufficient or established. Second was home ties. Third was employment situation. Fourth was the temporary residence thing.
Yeah.
And fifth was purpose of travel.
Yeah. They're all the same. They're all interconnected. They're all saying the same things. matlab ke they what they're saying is ke your ties to UAE are weak, and then there's no incentive for you to return from Canada back to UAE. Ye
Yeah.
kehna. They're all the same thing. So you have a job. You are working as a banker in UAE. You have a good salary. You have good money. Good money means you are okay money wise. Uh, if they do not consider you as established in UAE, I mean then 90% of all the labor people and other short skill people in UAE, they will be out of eligibility quite easily.
Well, yeah, it's quite surprising sometimes to think how the Abu Dhabi office is thinking. What is their approach? What they exactly want? कि हाँ भाई हमको ऐसा ऐसा application चाहिए which is you know uh, because in my case I was quite surprised. मेरी home ties जो है ना वो इंडिया से नहीं है. I have never lived in India more than a week. I was born in India, but I was raised in Dubai since my childhood. My father lived in Dubai since 60 years. My siblings, they all were born and brought up in Dubai. They all are raised in Dubai. So everybody, like for me, my home, if you say in a very practical way, my home is Dubai because I have been living in this country since I'm 34 now. I have been living in this country since then. But I don't know. क्योंकि मुझे अगर ये कोई बोले कि इंडिया में जाकर कुछ कर लो, आई विल बी शॉक्ड क्योंकि मैंने कभी आज तक कुछ किया नहीं है. दुबई में यस, आई कैन डू थिंग्स बट नथिंग इन इंडिया. तो मेरी होम बेस तो यहाँ से.
पर
बट
ये वीजा ऑफिसर को समझ में नहीं आया पहले. वीजा ऑफिसर did not agree or did not know or did not fully endorse your view that your ties are in Dubai. They still rejected you based on so-called lack of ties to maybe to India or to Dubai as well. Because
well,
but at the conclusion, of course, is no matter how much established you are in Dubai, in UAE, you are temporary. You are not permanent.
exactly, yeah, exactly,
Just
exactly.
like your father. Your father came in UAE for 60 years ago, but he never had a permanent status in UAE, and that's what they're
Right.
saying, that you are temporary, and then if I give you the visa, then you will never come back, and that's what it is. Just looking at points by points, what I did counter this argument in my visa application for you. What I said was, look, his father has been here for more than 60 years. He has a renewable contract and residence visa in UAE, which is always the norm in UAE for most foreign nationals. And you have a good salary of close to around, I think, $3,000 a month, right? Canadian dollars a month. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. And since 2006, your contract has been renewed, repeatedly. It's going on and on and
Yeah.
on, and there's
I've been
no
working since it. Yeah.
yeah, and there's no indication that this trend will discontinue. There's something called Emiratization. What is called Emiratization?
Yes. Yeah. Emiratization.
Emiratization. That means they want to bring in local Emirati people and take you out, and outside house out, and local people in. But uh, many applications I have seen in from Abu Dhabi, they always said that his job will be lost. He will lose his job. So I also tackled that problem also for you. So that's okay. You have a good family size. You have 5 siblings in UAE. All of them were born, I think, in UAE.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're all UAE people for many years. You have now, one of the other things is your son. You traveled to Canada before with your wife, and your son was born in Canada. So you
Yes.
also has a visible perception on you're trying to take your son to Canada. Maybe you will stay back or something. That's
True.
that was also we tackled that problem also. We've tackled because the kid is very small. I think he's 5 years old. How old is he?
Yeah. He is 4.5 right now.
4 and 5. So I said there's no way. there's no way he's going to stay back and jeopardize just because the kid to stay back. And there are no other family members for you, for your wife, and for other extended family for your kid in Canada. So I also said that the child will not stay in Canada for now. Maybe after 18 years, when he 18, when he becomes adult, maybe that time. So that's what I also used. Uh, what about what about funds? How much funds did you show for the flight training, and that you have available funds to go to Canada, if you may disclose?
Yeah, sure. So in my first application, my total fees for flight training was approximately 23,000. I paid only 10,000, and I paid 10,000 as a GIC,
Yeah.
and I kept around 20,000 Canadian in my bank account. That was my financial situation in my first application. But then when it got refused and when we discussed, you asked me, just make it full. So I paid the entire flight training fees, which is $23,000. Then I purchased another GIC. So in total, 23,000 paid to the flight training academy. 20,000 was the GIC, and $27,000 was in my account.
Now
So
wait
this
a
is
second.
all what.
Now wait a second. In your previous application that you did yourself, in your application you did that was refused,
Yeah.
you did not commit. You did not spend so much of money, which you did after I did your application. Is that right?
Yes.
So this
Yes.
is also a departure from the strategy. Many people, especially in Middle East, they argue with me that, why are you asking me to pay all this money? And I said, yes, I have a reason. And they said, look, this big university where I'm going, they only want a deposit. Like I know University of British Columbia, they only require $500 or maybe $1,000 deposit. And even if they want to pay the full annual fee to the UBC is saying, sorry, don't pay any fees. But the visa are getting denied. And I tell them, look, pay the whole fees. And say, no, I'm not paying the whole fees. I'm saying, you're not getting the visa now. I say, pay the whole. And this is also a strategy that we use in your. So after paying the GIC and the tuition fees, you still had $23,000 left to show to
27.
27,000. So
Well,
that's
see,
a
in my first application, मैंने अपने आप को forefront पे रख के, I did not show anything related to my wife. I did not show anything related to my son. Yes, I did mention that my son was born in Canada, जो भी form भरने पड़ते हैं, and my wife, because he has a Canadian passport and my wife already had a visa. So I was like, why do I have to discuss about them? Everything is about me. So let me just speak about myself. क्योंकि वो होता है ना कि हम हमेशा हमारी कमजोरी छुपाते हैं.
Yeah. Which of
या
course
उसके बारे में कम discuss करते हैं.
which of course was a shortcoming, big shortcoming, because as a visa officers, I think they are looking at the complete picture, not just you as a single applicant. And many people also sometimes argue with me on, because they want to take their spouses also with them and on a study visa also, and they say, अरे क्या करना, छोड़ो उसका वाइफ का क्या करना, दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, or whatever. But vice versa, the whole family's financial position have to be done upfront. There's no way about it.
Yeah, because I remember very vividly the first time when I spoke to you, my very first question after sharing my profile was, my son was born in Canada. Will I ever have a problem in getting this student permit? And you were like, no, this can never be an issue for you because that has happened, has happened. I was like, okay. क्योंकि मुझे वो हमेशा उसी बात की हमेशा एक घबराहट रहती. But yeah, I mean, I think ना मैंने कुछ छुपाया, like I didn't try to hide things. It's just that I wanted their focus on me. So I showed them, but I did not emphasize much that, what was the scenario and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's okay. Now also, if you remember, your flight, you are trying to become a pilot. You are doing a flight training, completing the rest of the hours. You have done some training in the US many times. You've been there, US many times. Canada also. You went there, Canada once or twice?
I have been to Canada twice,
You have
but
been
for
to
training
Canada.
it was only once.
ठीक है. But you have been to Canada thrice. Still, they refused the visa. But now, I also said in my letter, if you remember, that if he gets the study visa, perhaps he will go and not stay nonetheless, even if he
Exactly.
gets the
Yes.
visa. But
Yes.
he will come back. He will come back, and then he will
Yes.
complete his education components, whatever he wants to, theoretical something, he will do it. Do you remember that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I do remember. So basically, what happened? This came. पहली बात तो pilot training के दो elements होते हैं. One is the practical flying and one is the theory. Theory can be anywhere. You know, you can do it by yourself. You can do it online, and this is not only from the COVID. ये COVID से
Yeah.
पहले भी ऐसा ही होता था. You can do a self study at home and just go write the kind of exam with Transport Canada. तो दिसंबर 2021 में IRCC ने जब इस चीज को एक्सटेंड कर दिया ऑनलाइन को until August 2022, I was like, okay, so this is the best, best thing. If I get the visa, I'll go to Canada, register my status, activate all, do all the paperwork, bank and stuff like this, and then come back in Dubai, continue working, and start my theory thing. Take 3-4 months or 3 months, and then go back to Canada to start my flying. जिससे कोई harm नहीं है. Like, the academy has no problem with it. Transport Canada doesn't have any problem with it. You can do this. बहुत सारे लोग इसी तरह करते हैं. So even my plan is still the same. I don't know, because I was just looking at the flight tickets in a couple of days. They are just skyrocket. Like, मुझे तो बिल्कुल समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, मतलब मैं करूं क्या. So I wanted to ask you one very important question on
Yeah.
this. So I got the study visa, which allows me to enter and leave Canada. The study permit allows me to study in Canada. Now, जो कहते हैं हम पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट वर्क परमिट का जो ड्यूरेशन मिलता है, that is based on your study duration. Am I right?
Yeah. How much time you have spent studying?
Yeah. So, is it important, necessary for me to travel to Canada and register my student status, or I can just enroll on an online course? Like, अगर मैं an online course enroll यहाँ से कर लेता हूँ, will it consider कि हाँ, this has been started? कि नहीं, you have to land in Canada, get the study permit, only then it will start. Can you put light on this?
Yeah, what I know briefly is that the rules about the postgraduate work permit are very different for flight students. All right, so I'm pretty much not sure about your. I can do research and get back to you about flight, but I can tell you this, that even if it was a regular student, regular, like a regular student who's going there for study, online does not count. Online is not. I mean, if you unless they authorize you to do online from the college side, not something that you can take on your own choice. Like, for example, in the last year in COVID time, they because of COVID closures, they forced students out from the campus, and then they sent them homes, whether they are going to India or something, and they were giving credit for at least 50% of the component for the future PG work permit. So if the 50% of the course was done from a distance, like online, that still would have been counted for the future duration of the study undertaken for PG work permit. But I'm pretty much sure that does not count for airline flight training. So I'll be very surprised if it does, but I can look into it. I can show you where everybody can. It's
I can't hear you. Yeah,
It's on the, you can go to the IRCC website and then read about it on the, if you go to IRCC website and type postgraduate work permit, you can read about it.
yeah, I'll do that. In fact, I have done that, but I was just pretty,
I
uh,
don't know the answer to the question about flight training. I can look into it and get back to you maybe in a few days.
yeah, no problem. So yeah, this was my case, but to be very honest, I, despite being my profile, despite being everything mine, but I think this would have not been possible without you. To be very honest, I'm not just being sweet on the video and just trying to. But no, this would have happened. This had happened because of you. Because I think expertise always count. Uh, you know, you know the problem. You have a skill to identify the problem, and you did a bullseye. I think मेरे लिए अकेले इस चीज को करना लोहे के चने चबाने बराबर, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, क्योंकि मैं थक चुका था इनको समझाते हुए, लाइक बिकॉज मैंने 10 साल से मैंने जितना भी ट्रैवल किया है, to be I have always applied all my visas by myself. I never took an agent, no consultant, nothing, because it is everything is clear, black and white, name, date of birth, stuff like this. But then यहाँ पे जब मेरा पहला refusal आया, I put my hands up. I was like, ये मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा. I need an expert who can really understand. And I think you did this. It's not me.
Well, it is just good luck and coincidence that we have used your case to showcase what is possible in the Middle East. My ambition is to start doing more cases from Middle East, from especially Dubai, UAE area. And even though we had some other cases, I have one more case which is pending right now in that area. There are some successful cases, success we got in Saudi, in Saudi Arabia. But I think Saudi Arabia cases were far more easy than UAE. So I take this opportunity to start doing more cases in UAE like yours. And I'm always interested, as I said, in refused cases. So one of these days when I am in Dubai, maybe I'll get to do more cases like this, and then hopefully. But
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, Dubai में मेरा like me as a mature applicant, not everybody will take case. It's very difficult. और मजे की बात मैं एक और ही बता दूं जरा, क्योंकि मैं इस इतने प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व था, I never attempted for any English language exam. I really want to tell this because people think that IELTS is mandatory. IELTS के बगैर वीजा नहीं लग सकता. But here, I mean, मैंने IELTS नहीं दिया, मैंने PTE नहीं दिया, मैंने कोई भी इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज का एग्जाम नहीं दिया, क्योंकि प्राइमरीली वो इसलिए नहीं दिया बिकॉज इट इज नॉट द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ माय एकेडमी.
और आपका वीजा बगैर इंग्लिश किए हुए लग गया?
जी, मेरा वीजा बगैर आईएलटीएस के हुआ. इवन आपने जब मुझसे कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगे थे एंड देन आपने आईएलटीएस मेंशन किया था, आई वाज लाइक सर मैं आईएलटीएस तो नहीं दूंगा क्योंकि ये एकेडमी को मेरे चाहिए ही नहीं और मैं दूंगा ही नहीं, मुझे ये सर दर्द में पढ़ना ही नहीं. तो आपने कहा ठीक है, वो तो मैंने इट जस्ट हैपेंड. सो या आई गेव इट विदाउट आईएलटीएस. और सर मुझे ये पता था, मैं हमेशा ये सोचता था कि मेरा स्टूडेंट वीजा लगेगा. आई हैव अ वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन हु लिव्स, जिसके बारे में मैं आपसे बात करता था, लाइक वी बोथ स्टार्टेड टुगेदर. वो मुझसे आगे निकल गया. वेरी डियर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, लाइक आई थिंक आई एम ब्लेस्ड विद हिम. He always used to tell me ताकि आ जा, ताकि स्टूडेंट पे आ जा, ताकि स्टूडेंट पे आ जा, देख कर ले. And I was like, I cannot come right now. जब टाइम होगा, जब वक्त आएगा, only then I will come. And जब मैंने आने की कोशिश की और जब रिफ्यूज हो गया, I was like, man, मुझे तो लगा था कि it will never get refused. But he supported me a lot in 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 my personal situations, in my flight training situations. He has been always a savior for me whenever I, मैंने ट्रेनिंग के लिए बहुत स्ट्रगल किया. Becoming a pilot was my childhood dream. I started this when I was 28 years old. It was like, but this was my dream, and I pursued this since 2015. मैं हर साल ट्रैवल करता था, हर साल यूएस जाता था, खाली हाथ आता था. Then again, next year I used to, get all the energy back. Again travel, again come back empty hands because of a lot of commitments. पैसा जा रहा है, टाइम जा रहा है, और मेरी यहाँ पे जॉब थी, so I had to come back. I had my family, but yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. All thanks to you, my family, my friend, my wife, my everyone. I don't know. मतलब शायद पता नहीं मैंने क्या किया अच्छा जो मुझे मेरे साथ में ये आज हुआ है. To be very honest.
इसमें ताकि कोई ऐसी कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. ये ईद का टाइम है. कल ईद है, कब परसों है, कब है?
हाँ, कल कल
ईद का टाइम पे आपको एक तोहफा मिलना था और वीजा लगना था, तो लग गया. और ये बहाने सब बन गए. ये सब ये होता है कि कैसे लग गया, कैसे हो गया. ये सब ऊपर वाले का एक खेल है, बहाने हैं. और इससे ज़्यादा और कहने की मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है. मेरे पास ये कहना है कि मेरी लाइट फिर चली गई है यहाँ पर, मैं जहाँ पर हूँ, और पावर फिर जाने वाला है. और अभी यहाँ पर इंडिया में लाइट यहाँ फिर जाने वाली है और पावर मेरी फिर चल जाएगी. इसलिए अब हमको बात यहाँ ख़त्म करनी पड़ेगी. पर
ठीक है सर.
I congratulate you on your success, or hopefully we can attract more cases in UAE like yours. I'm looking forward to dealing more cases like mature people who have been who have all the documents and all the prerequisites, but they're still unsuccessful in getting the visas, and that's what I like to do. So देखते हैं क्या होता है आगे. ठीक है. Thank you very much, Taki, for your time, and I hope to see you soon sometime. Take care.
Sure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.